A lot of times it seems like the goal you're trying to achieve is very far away, and because you're an ambitious person, it can seem to be extremely overwhelming knowing that what you have to do to get there, or even most importantly, who you have to become to obtain the things that you want, whether they're physical, mental, or spiritual. However, it is crucial to recognize that the only way to get to the destination is to start, obviously. But what I mean by that is that starting is usually the hardest part about getting something done, because once the momentum has started, it is much easier to continue moving forward. So it is very important to learn how to start something and do it regardless of how you feel. Even if it's just for 5 to 10 minutes at a time, it is still more progress than if you didn't do it at all, so let that sink in. One concept I have adopted and fell in love with is the concept of improving yourself just 1% every single day. Because little by little you begin to create a momentum of improving your mindset and life, which gradually turns into days, then weeks, then months and years, and so on and so on. Once you implement this concept into your life, you will naturally want to push yourself more and more towards greatness, because as far as I know, most ambitious people have tendencies for perfectionism. And therefore, once they see results, they will naturally want to improve upon those results even more. However, it is also very important to be grateful for what you have already achieved, as having perfectionism tendencies can also stall your progress by making you not do anything at all, as you might feel like you have to have a perfect mindset, situation, or specific skills, etc. Which is not true at all, because those things don't just appear out of nowhere, and they have to be practiced to be acquired, so you have to be willing to be ignorant about new topics until you aren't anymore. It is also very important to have a clear idea of where you're headed, because this is how you will know what you need to work on and when. And if you're in a situation where you don't know where you're headed, then make it your mission to find that out until you do. Also, don't become stagnant by only studying one subject alone, as they can and will hinder your progress, because eventually you will feel like you're just receiving the same message over and over again. So, when you open yourself up to at least 2 or 3 other subjects of interest, you actually begin to mesh ideas and naturally come up with new concepts about life and yourself as an individual, and it will skyrocket your progress. Also, don't even think about whether those interests are related to each other or not, because once you get a good idea of what they're all about, then you will be able to naturally connect those subjects in your head and come up with something creative that will ignite the spark within you and eventually turn into a full-on fire that drives you on a daily basis. I also understand that unfortunately not everyone gets the luxury of having a good role model in their life or access to top-notch education. So it's very important to learn how to become curious on your own, as I have learned that the real education is provided to you by the life itself. And if you're willing to be receptive towards those lessons, then you will be smart and wise than a lot of people who only have book knowledge. YouTube is also a great resource of information and different types of perspectives from people from all over the world. But always think for yourself and don't accept just any opinion or belief that you see on the internet, including this video. And when you're learning, just take what resonates and then leave the rest. One thing I see a lot of times is that most people tend to identify with their failures, quote unquote, and they let them define them for a very long time. But if you really truly conceptualize that every failure is an opportunity that you can learn something from, then you will become unstoppable, because it's a skill you can actually practice. So the more you practice learning from life by understanding that things don't happen to you, but rather for you, then the easier you'll be able to identify ideas and lessons that you can capitalize on and integrate into your own life. And one way you can do that is by becoming more self-aware and getting in touch with the real you that exists beneath the ego. Most people don't realize this one simple concept, but the small details are what builds the bigger picture. It doesn't matter how small or big of a certain concept that you might come across appears to you, it always has some potential to teach you something about yourself or the world. And as you gather more and more knowledge that is useful to you, the more you'll be able to notice patterns in your life that can help you guide you towards something that you desire. Because once you have a clear idea of where you want to go in life, and becoming the person who naturally possesses the things that you want, then you won't have any trouble having a deep understanding that some things happen in your life to shape you into the future you that already has everything you are currently thinking about. It's like the example that a lot of people use. When you ask God for more wisdom or love, you will come across situations that put you through specific emotions, ideas, conversations with other people, hardships, and so on, so that you can acquire those qualities. This is why the saying exists. Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. Sometimes you also might not be ready for specific lessons, and life will put you through them on purpose just to show you that you're not on that level yet, which can actually be a lesson on its own if you think about it. But don't be discouraged for a long period of time, and realize that you have more things to work on before you can face the new demons. I believe that to have the greatness that most of us desire, we have to become the people who naturally acquire those things, because most people are simply not ready for the amount of money, fame, love, exposure, etc. that they want, because with more resources and knowledge comes more responsibility. So being able to handle greatness can be faked, as even if one acquires the desired outcome but is not ready for it, then it's only a matter of time before that same thing either leaves or begins to torment him.